Barisha. Diamante.
Durante with a free header.
And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessa Barisha.
It's Connor Payne on the left.
Alessandro Diamante, the ball on a string. And
Oh, Diamante!
The Western service crew are celebrating.
Welcome back to All Out West, and what a memeable first round of the new A-League season. With Sturridge's 3 touches, the broadcast issues between Wu and Vuck's first derby, and the SpongeBob and Patrick halftime show. This week we are joined by Jay, the Pit Viper Orton, Lebby, off his brain Heenan, Scott, Stone Cold Scott Austin couldn't make it, the Professor Mike Kelzay, and I'm your host Wallace, and you don't make nicknames for yourself because that's weird. How's it going, lads?
Oh, after that introduction, I'm shell-shocked.
Give me 30 seconds, I'll go grab the Pit Vipers, but I don't think I can do it for the whole pod, but no, I think I'll pass this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, good anyway.
Yeah, disappointing result on Saturday, but I've already moved on.
Yeah, good to be back just at a proper league game. So, as much as it would have been good to grab the win, hopefully we get one on Friday. Quick turnaround. So, yeah, just excited to get on with the season.
Yeah, it was a bit of a fun one, wasn't it? Getting to the pub early. I believe the Western Service crew may have gained some new friends at a local function they had there at the Barwon Club.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll give you a proper shout out to the I think it is the Motowari Football Club. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I got one of them to look it up for me. Shout out to the Motowari Football Club for jumping in the pre-game with us. A few of them actually, I think 2 of them were actually foundation members of the club. So couldn't make it down to the game because they had their footy function on. But it was good to see just a bunch of other people jumping in and showing some support, even if, it's their first ever involvement with active support or Australian football. Wouldn't surprise me if we see them down at the Barwon more often.
Yeah, look, even if we pull 1 or 2 fans out of it, better than none.
Definitely. Kelsey, where did we end up before game?
What was it bloody called again?
Black Man's Brewery, the Grovedale portion of the business, which was quite nice.
That was good there. That had a really good vibe there. We sat up the top bit, got to watch all the ants down below us. Some really nice beers.
Yeah, just a great setup there. The club set up a promotion where the first 30 people to buy a pint there in reference to Western United would get a prize pack. I would have gone there anyway. I didn't actually know Black Man's Brewery had a little microbrewery there. The only one I'd seen was in Torquay, and that one was great. So Kelsey and I popped along before we made it to the pregame, and yeah, what a great little place there.
Yeah, I didn't even know Grovedale had an industrial area.
Did you 2 grab just a quick 30 points, down them all, and get all the prize packs for yourself?
It was a 3-game membership, and I'm already a member, so it's
It's 1 pint each, sell them off for $10 a pop, and there you go, 15 pints for free.
Look, if you had a couple of the masks that we to the.
Sorry, they had 3-game memberships available if you buy a pint, just to clarify.
Yeah. It's a good promotion. Hopefully,
we'll
do something like that later on.
Yeah. It was fully booked out when we got there. What were you going to say, Lebby?
I was just going to say, if you had a few of the masks that we tend to wear to the games, I think you probably could have got in and got a few of them for yourself without them noticing.
That would be correct. Classic dead presidents. Always good. Are they actually dead, those guys, or
Reagan and
at
Nixon.
least one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were
Reagan
both.
has-
Yeah.
Reagan's definitely dead.
Yeah. Suicidal tendencies were coming for him in like the freaking 80s. Do you know who you should really have as a mask, just as a follow-up to that, which has been on a tangent? John Howard. And he should be dead. No.
Look, I think
I was going to say,
he's just old.
here.
He's just
We
old.
might have a new business of we can create a mask company of old Australian politicians and new ones.
I just
I'd say
thought it
Andrew
give it a
Tran.
bit of an Australian tint. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we should do is probably get into the club update. You guys keen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it.
What club update? Now, it was revealed on the green room that Western United in the 2021 season tried to get Dylan Wenzel-Halls on a loan. Do you think this could have changed the outcome of last? Are you guys hearing that?
Yeah.
Birds.
Oh,
I'm hearing birds.
no, I'm not
Maybe
hearing
that's
them.
my place.
I'm hearing Wallace.
No, I'm hearing it.
Is it a little
Indian
Yeah.
minor birds.
something outside?
That's okay. That's
No,
cool.
can't hear anything.
I wanted. Okay, that's cool. I just hear it. I'll get back into it. So, what do you guys
I
think of?
thought you were doing something pod related, and I couldn't.
No.
hear that. I'm like,
I was
hang on,
hearing
what's
something.
going
I
on
couldn't.
here?
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell if it was local to me. Sorry, I get a
Yeah.
bit sensitive to sounds. But what do you guys think of
Yeah, I
Dylan
understand.
Wenzel-Halls? I'm going to throw to you, Lebby.
Look, funny story. Tried to get a jersey of his last week, but it wouldn't let me put the hyphen on the back, so I had to contact the club, and I'm waiting to hear back from him on seeing whether or not I can get a kit from them or not with his name on the back. But look, I think it would have been great last season. Bessart definitely slowed down towards the end of the season, even though he had a few good games, still scored a few crucial goals. But having someone, especially young, that was already proven to an extent in the A-League, especially when we got the tired legs on that big run at the end of the season where we didn't do well at all, I feel like it would have been a really good look, might not have changed the outcome, but we would have at least had a different option going forward, which is where I think we lack the most, apart from those couple of thumpings.
Yeah, Leb Kelsey, Jay Kelsey.
Yeah, look, I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the season, but yeah, I agree with Leb that it would have given us at least a different option. We could have started with Wales and Wenzel-Halls up front, especially when Wales was on fire. They could have fed off each other a little bit more, but I don't think anything was really changing the outcome because it was mostly just fatigue all round across the pitch, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're pretty awful towards that back end of the season. Maybe best case scenario, we finished just outside of the top 6, but I don't think we would have made finals last year with or without Dylan Wenzel-Halls. I think it was a squad issue that no one player could have solved, unless it's maybe like a messy character coming in. But Dylan's not that good. Hopefully one day, but not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on. But it was just an interesting thought because I was listening to the Green Room last week. Again, a really great initiative the club is doing with F&R Radio, who do great Australian content. Now, on to another fun one. West United, in partnership with the Hapsa Group and Food Bank Victoria, have united to put meals on the table for thousands of people in need across Victoria. The 2021 Food Bank Hunger Report showed that 1 in 6 adults in Victoria hadn't had enough to eat in the last year. A staggering 1.2 million children have gone without food in the last year as well. The Goals to Fight Hunger initiative will see $200 donated to Food Bank for every goal scored by Western United through the rest of the season. And the money raised will go directly to Food Bank Victoria. Every goal kicked throughout the season creates 400 meals for vulnerable Australians. I think that's amazing. Kelsey, thoughts?
I think it's amazing too. Hunger and starvation, especially for amongst the homeless, is a really serious thing. I think it's a good initiative. I know during lockdown, a lot of different organisations, companies, sporting teams worldwide have tried to do similar things to try and help those who can't get a meal be able to at least get one decent meal in their stomach a day.
Definitely. Anyone else want to comment on it?
Yeah, hopefully our game against Perth is similar to the one last year. 5 goals would be great for the cause.
Yeah, look, I think
can't be mad at that sort of initiative. It's good of the club to do, and yeah, hopefully we can get some extra donations outside what the club is pushing.
Yeah, look, football fans love goals, and let's hope for, especially for this cause and for the entertainment value, that this season's a really bad defensive one.
Yeah. Now, on to another bit of news. On Thursday, the 18th, Western United announced the appointment of Anthony Frost as the first Western United Academy Director. This is a new role for the club, and Anthony has a wealth of knowledge from working for 6 years at the Melbourne City Academy as head coach and coach developer to his time at the men's under-20 team at Football Australia. He's he's qualified for his A, B, and C license as an instructor. What do you guys think as a start to our academy? Do you guys think this is a good idea, bad idea? From I'll go to you, Jay.
Very good pickup. 2 good youth academies there that he's already managed. City. There's obviously a lot of good young talent coming out of there. And was that the FA youth? Was that out of Canberra?
Yeah, I think it was the whatever it's called, tip of tongue.
Yeah,
That's not
it
in my
used to,
notes, but yeah.
it used to be.
AIS.
It used to be the AIS.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AIS, yeah. So obviously some of the best young talent in the country. Obviously, he would have, players like Daniel Alzani and Tilio and stuff like that. A lot of our good young players coming through. So hopefully he can bring a few up and help a few out at Western. I'm not mad at that appointment.
And with the prestige of that sort of facility as well, you've seen plenty of players and plenty of former Socceroos, especially during our golden generation, that went through that facility. So if it's anything like it used to be as well, he's got some good experience and he would have worked with some good facilities and good people around him.
Yeah, and having a proper backroom staff really helps with the on-field performance and development as well. You got to have the right people in the right positions, and with his history and pedigree and where he's been, this is a good appointment to help set the foundation up for our academy.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very excited to see what comes of this and for future players of the West. On to another good one. West United will be powered by Solar Australia Energy Co. throughout the 21-22 Isuzu Ute A-League men's season. That's a mouthful. The club continues to be mindful of its impact on the environment and its efforts to preserve it, and it's proud to unite this with Solar Australia Energy Co. as an advertising partner as it continues to advocate for sustainable energy. Solar Australia Energy Co. will power Western United's starting lineups each week throughout the season, featuring prominently on social media platforms. I think this has really been a big part of Western United from season 1 with our recyclable membership cards, which I still have in my wallet the first season because we haven't had one since. What do you guys think? Leb?
Look, solar power is always a good thing and a great alternative, a green alternative. And not just that, it's a lot cheaper for the people that invest the money into actually using it. So to partner with that sort of power company and that sort of, that sort of business, I think it's going to be a good thing. And not just that, the more partners we have, the better.
I just wish I'd known about this back in August, because that's when I put solar panels on my goddamn roof, and I would have gone through them, given the fact they're sponsoring the club. Would have thrown them some business. So I'm just a bit gutted I found out a little too late.
Can you get a refund on those panels that are installed?
No. They're good. They're good panels. I just feel like these could be better. They sponsor the club.
100% agree. Now, we'll get on to a little bit of signing news. Now, Ben Collins has signed a 1-year academy deal. After a breakout year captaining the inaugural WU NPL squad, Collins has signed his first professional contract. The 21-year-old centre-back has been training with the squad since the conclusion of the NPL season. Kelsey, thoughts?
Of course, you're going to... Look, tell you the truth, I don't know too much about him. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an expert on him. I think having a young centre-back is good to have in our development. And hopefully he can get a crack and do some big things at the club.
Any other comments, guys?
Look, any sort of young player that's coming in with the experience that he's got, him being a captain of his former sides, and I think it'll be a lift. A few of the boys seem to know him already and like him. So, yeah, let's hope he does well.
Yep. Do you guys want to move on to the game review?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. Kelsey, you got this.
All right, let's get into it. So on Saturday night, 20th of November, West United took on Melbourne Victory, or Victory, depending how you want to feel about them, at GMHBA Stadium. Now, season opener in front of 8,120 fans. Wallace, I'll throw to you. Keeping in mind that this was the third highest attended game across the round, how do you think we did crowd number-wise?
I think it was pretty good. And I think, although Victory did outnumber us in the stands, I think it was pretty good from both sides. I'd say we had around, of the 8,120, I think it was. I think we had around the 3,000 mark, give or take, which I think's not too bad for a club that's 3 years old. And we were loud. The active really showed up that day. There was a lot of new faces. I was pretty happy with it. Again, Victory never cut, like they always show up in droves. And yeah, it was pretty good.
Leb J, any thoughts on it?
Look, I'm going to go in a different direction. I think the crowd was actually a little bit disappointing. I feel like it could have been a lot bigger for what it was, being round one, being a game against Victory. I feel even their numbers, even though they're actives and our actives turned out in numbers, as we know, we're in the active, pretty much all of the mainstays were there. I'm sure it was the same for them. It seems like either the neutral fan or just kind of the more casual fan didn't attend.
Jay, any thoughts?
I thought for sure we were going to get 10K. So to see 8K come up on the board was a bit disappointing. I mean, we had 10K tickets / booked. So people have got the tickets and not shown up. I don't get it. I don't understand if you get your ticket, show up. Or palm it off or sell it, do what you want. Just, I just don't understand how we could have, 10,000 tickets booked a week before the game and 8,000 show up. Honestly, not a good look for either club, not a good look for the A-League, more importantly, especially with the landmark Paramount deal coming into play this round and the problems associated with that I'm sure we'll probably get into at some point later on. But yeah, 8,000 is not a bad crowd, but I think we should have got more.
Yeah, I personally found it weird that because I'd heard that 10K was sold as well, and that seems like 1,900 people decided to pull out. Seems like a lot of people pulling out, for whatever reason.
It's just not good enough. And I feel Victory fans would feel exactly the same. I feel like they could have got bigger numbers too.
Yeah, they'd probably be feeling like it should have been their home game, not the other way around.
I got a question,
whereas
though,
it was
guys.
more even.
Yeah,
I've got a thought there. Could I just butt in if that's okay? Do you think the recent freedom, so people are able to do more, had a negative effect on the game attendance? E.g., I could go to this game, but the world's just opened up. I want to do something else. Do you think that kind of over the excessive amount of options people now have, they're kind of a bit sport for choice, and they're like, oh, I would like to go that, but maybe, you know what I mean? We might see attendances pick up once things have normalized a bit, because shopping centers have just started to fully open.
That definitely could have played into it because, we've seen footy clubs and netball clubs having their Mad Mondays 3-4 months after their Mad Mondays should have been, So, there's probably people going out, having parties that they were supposed to have, birthday parties, work catch-ups, football club drink-ups and stuff like that months after they had them planned. And, I don't know if you guys have been down. We've been to the pubs pre-game a couple of weeks in a row now. And, I popped down to the bridge again last week as well to catch up with some mates, and that was packed again. So, yeah, people are definitely making the most of their freedoms, and maybe, an A-League game's just not at the top of their list at the moment. Hopefully, we see an uptick in the people that show up to these games, starting with the Perth game.
Yeah. And look, I do think that 19%. I do think it covers some of the absences, but 19% not turning up of paid tickets, it's just a little high either way. Any more thoughts?
No. Yeah,
all right.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So, look, the first half was a very even contest, with West United having the slight edge. And what would be the theme over the 90 minutes? The ball quality in the final third appeared to be the letdown for both sides. I personally noticed that we looked a little bit more solid at the back, and the midfield looked great with Kilkenny in there providing support both ways. Jay, did you see any noticeable changes in tactics from last season, both good or bad?
From last season, there's an obvious change in tactics. Obviously, 4 at the back, not 3, not wing backs. We've got Payne pushing up. We've got Caruccio covering him. I think we didn't see any changes between our FFA Cup game and that game and the game on the weekend against Victory, because we started Wenzel Halls again, and we were putting too many crappy balls into the box again. It's like we had no problem getting the ball around the box and whipping them in. It's just every time we put the ball in, it seemed to fall to a victory players, and they were just dealing with it too easily. We did defend a little better, I thought, bar one set piece that we completely butchered. But honestly, it's unless we start putting the ball into the net and start honestly finding players in the box, because shots on target, I think this game was a very, very big problem. It's not a particularly attractive brand of football, to be completely honest. If you're just hitting and hoping every time, I was not confident in Wenzel Halls or Lachie Wales scoring, just because of the way we were trying to get to the ball to them. They just didn't get it. We couldn't deliver. Nothing on them, and honestly nothing on players like Diamante or anything. I think they've been told to play a certain way by Aloisi, and I don't agree with it. I think there's still a bit more gelling to happen at Western United, and hopefully Aloisi can sort that out. But the way we've started, I'm not particularly happy with it. I think we should be playing to our players' strengths.
Wallace, what do you think?
I think we started pretty strong, but I think we had trouble finishing, and you could really tell the extra couple of months of that squad being together and the foundations of it being laid. They bossed us in midfield. They were just on top of us, and there was a tighter squad on the day. Like that's you really saw the cracks, but we also had some really good highlights as well. Like there was a few things that I really enjoyed. Like I think Kilkenny was really good dropping back into a defensive role, so other people other people could move forward. So we have some really good moments, and I didn't watch the game and go, shit, we're gonna finish 11th or 12th. I saw there's improvement. We're probably gonna peak in a few more games.
Led?
Yeah, completely agree with what Wallace said, and completely agree with what Jay said as well. I don't think it's a slight on one particular player, whereas more so it was the playing style. You saw the players, until it got a little bit later, where everybody was obviously tired, they're not super fit. It is still early, and it's the first game of the season. We've only had one other professional game before this season. The final product wasn't there, and I think a lot of it, did come down to the gameplay.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'm going to start the next bit by saying there's a lot of information in this next part before we get to the question. So just bear with.
I'm sitting back. I'm getting a beer ready.
Okay. I'm gonna have to figure it out.
You all have about a minute to 90 seconds here, probably. So the second half was much the same, with the final ball letting down both sides until the 75th minute, where from a corner and what would be a defensive lapse from West United, where we left Miranda completely unmarked, allowing him to rise and get a free header at Jamie Young's near post. It was a tough goal to concede due to the lapse, and angles show Lachie Wales may have obscured Jamie Young's view at the near post. This now brings us into the next part. There's been a lot of debate amongst fans about Jamie Young starting over fan favourite Ryan Scott. Now, before we get into this debate, I'll provide some preamble to explain why maybe Aloisi's brought in Jamie Young and an experienced keeper, and some stats just to bear in mind for the conversation. So, comparing to last year, Brisbane had an overall save percentage across all competitions of 77.6%, which was the second highest in the league. Western United had an overall save percentage of 71.8%, which was the fifth highest. Now, that includes all goalkeepers. Jamie Young played 24 games across all competitions with a save percentage of 78%, with 92 saves from 118 shots on target. He conceded 26 goals across the 4 games, with 1.08 goals conceded per 90 minutes. If you look at just his the season stats, it was 21 games played, 6 clean sheets, 21 goals conceded, an average of 1 goal per 90. In contrast, Ryan Scott played 18.5 games, give or take, because of the game where he came on as an injury cover, with a save percentage of 73%, with 84 saves from 115 shots on target. He conceded 34 goals at an average of 1.83 goals per 90. Ryan Scott also had 5 clean sheets across the games. In saying that, Ryan Scott's stats can be broken down into the first 10.5 games, where he conceded only 10 goals at a touch under 1 goal per 90, and the final 8 games, where there were 24 goals conceded at an average of 3 goals per 90. Another statistic is that Ryan Scott had 359 passes at 66% passing accuracy in less games compared to Ryan Scott, who only had 273 passes at 58% accuracy. With all that in mind, Leb, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Ryan Scott starting over Jamie Young or Young over Ryan Scott?
Yeah, we'll get into the analysis in a bit, and it's not just bias because I do love Scotty, but Scott over Young.
Why do you think that?
Look, I could name a bunch of reasons. I feel that honestly, the biggest reason I rate Jamie Young as goalkeeper, great A-League keeper. He's won Player of the Year in the past for Brisbane and Goalkeeper of the Year in the league. Pretty sure he's won the Golden Glove too with conceding the least clean sheets. I could be wrong with that one, but it's tough. Young's an experienced goalkeeper, and we definitely, after the departure of Curdo, we definitely needed somebody to fill that void as somebody who's a bit more experienced. But Ryan Scott's morale in the dressing room, the kind of person he is around the club, all the boys love him, all the staff love him. The performances he's put on last season, even though his stats may not show it, there were moments in those matches where he'd G up the crowd a lot more than Jamie Young has in these first couple of games. It might be just because he's fresh and hasn't gotten used to us yet, but Scotty was the kind of player who was being a little bit dangerous and a little bit exciting while being a goalkeeper and a safe pair of hands. He'd come out, he'd have that header out of the box, that clearance out of the box, something that G up the fans and G's up the rest of the team. And something I'm really scared of is the fact that we've got somebody that's so good for the dressing room, so good around the club like Ryan Scott. And if he doesn't get an opportunity after ousting Curdo last year, who was an experienced goalkeeper, has won Goalkeeper of the Year himself, I feel like there will be other clubs on our doorstep trying to snap him up. And if he's not getting the game time, he's not going to want to be going back to a bricklayer because he is A-League quality. He deserves a full-time contract and he deserves to be playing somewhere, even if it's not us. And I don't want to see him go elsewhere.
Look, fair enough. Jay, where do you sit on this?
Things come in threes. I think if Jamie Young has a bad game next week, he gets dropped. It could go either way. I think Aloisi's probably gonna stick with him. If me personally, Scotty comes in now, he's because Jamie's butchered a couple goals in the last couple of weeks, and he's not looked too steady. I thought maybe the first game was hiccups, but should have done better at his near post, obscured or not. I think he probably should have done better there. We love Ryan Scott. I think it's a hard one to call because it's very early on. And if we're going to be dropping Jamie Young after 2 poor games, we got this. We could be doing that we could have easily done that to Ryan Scott after we had 6 bad games in a row last season. No one blamed him, obviously, but could have easily done it, never did. We showed faith in him, so maybe we show a little faith to Jamie and see what happens. But look, I think if he has a shocker personally has a shocker against Perth, I'm not saying concedes because you can still concede good goals. I'm saying if he flaps around, knocks the ball around, doesn't clear the ball, probably doesn't make a save, palms it directly to a attacker, I think it's probably time for him to be dropped after that. But I'd say it's definitely worth giving him the Perth game on Friday.
And where do you sit, Wallace?
Again, it's one of those hard things to differentiate yourself from the fan who, again, Ryan Scott is such an enigmatic being. He's good for the dressing room. He's a good egg. Again, all these points you guys have highlighted, I agree with that because I'm pro Ryan Scott. Lebby, you and I had, actually Jay and I, we had a rad interview with him. He's just a good person and you want him to succeed. He's got a really good story. And I'd love to see him as our full-time keeper, but Jamie Young does have that experience and is a proven quantity. So I would love him to like get that number one spot this season, but it's professional sports.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I
not
agree
an
with-
easy gig.
No.
And we all do want to see him succeed.
Sorry, lads.
That's okay.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whilst you just want to show the goal for a second, and we'll just,
Yeah.
in one word, so we don't keep going on all day about it, in one word, we'll all sum up whether Jamie Young was at fault or whether it was he was a bit unlucky.
On the way. Ball in near post. The header. And
Well, the Harvey Norman replay here shows a great ball in the near stick, and you see Miranda, he just drifted across that 6-yard box, leaps up, guides the header in the near post, unmarked.
All right. In a sentence,
Now that I look back at it, we should have been marked better. Not as at fault. Probably still could have got there, but our defence was at fault more so than Jamie Young for that goal. I will change my opinion.
I will say at fault with Jamie Young, even though the defence was at fault too. You saw he misjudged the flight of the ball, and the first couple of steps he took out is what didn't allow him to get back in time to cover the near post.
Wallace?
Yeah, but still an unmarked attacker as well.
I agree. I definitely agree. He's not completely at fault, but he could have done better too.
Yeah. It was a group effort is what we're saying.
Yes, 100%.
That's where I sit on it. It was a complete lapse for the entire defence, from the goalkeeper through to all the defenders in the box. Not one of them did their job.
A tragedy of errors.
If the defence was slightly better, Jamie may not have taken those couple of steps forward first, and then would have been in position to get a better touch on the ball.
Yeah, there were quite a few ball watchers in that replay.
Yeah. Him being one too, but there were a few.
Yeah. So we'll move on from that. So late in the game, it appeared Western United had a potential penalty claim denied when Diamante and Davidson clashed inside the box of what appeared to be Davidson intentionally turning and ensuring his legs collided or blocked Diamante. Wallace, I'll start with you. Where do you sit? Penalty or not?
I would if we had got it, I would have been cool with it. If it was called against me, I would have been upset. So it's a 50-50. You'll take it if it's yours. You'll be upset if it's not.
Leb?
Look, it's the sort of decision where, being a Western United fan, I do have that little bit of bias. So I feel like it should have been a penalty. But in saying that, it's not complete bias, because I feel like if it was on the other foot and it was Diamante taking down Davidson in their box for their penalty, I feel like we would have been lucky to get away with it too. But it's not 100% clear cut. It's that I feel like I would have been lucky not to concede that, and feel like you're lucky to not get it at the same time, but you kind of see where the ref and the VAR were coming from.
Yeah. Jay?
Diamante actually got a yellow for what I thought was a very similar but more overt challenge not long after that. A trailing leg. I think it's clumsy from Davidson. I don't think there's malice in it, but he's left the leg in there and Diamante's tripped over it. We've seen him given. I'm surprised VAR didn't even look at it. VAR didn't even look at it, like, to my knowledge. Sorry,
just to cut in. I think they did look at it, but there wasn't a proper, not a proper review.
Yeah, it was a 1-2. They had no problem with it, and look, I guess there was just an element of bias. From me, we didn't deserve to. Maybe we deserved the point from the game, so max. But ultimately, we should have played better. So we can't be relying on those sorts of challenges for penalties. It wasn't clear cut. Could have been given. Wasn't. Move on.
I tend to think, for me, it was one of those ones where there's no real winner either way in that decision. You're either happy or upset, no matter which way you look. You're either happy you got or didn't get it, or you're upset that you did or didn't, or that it was paid or that it wasn't paid. It just wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Either way. So obviously the game would end in defeat, with Victory taking all 3 points. look, I did see some positives. Defensively, we were a lot sharper than last season, taking out that one lapse for the goal. We looked a lot better, especially with Lacroix down there. I thought he was an absolute beast. Kilkenny, again, he looked great. So there's two good signings that have come into the team. They just capitalised off one moment, really, because the final ball for both teams was really terrible the whole game. Any last thoughts?
Hopefully we bring it next week. Hopefully we start Prijovic and bring on Wenzel Halls later, because I think he's got pace to burn. He can affect the game early on, but I think he'll be much more effective later on. Prijovic, we really didn't really get a chance. I think we might have a couple of tactical change-ups this week. But Rene Krhin obviously still out. We've left him out. Didn't make the squad, probably due to fitness. Hopefully due to fitness and not injury. See where we go from here. Very, very. It feels like it feels like pretty much the same game as the Newcastle Jets game, except we got lucky in the Jets game and we didn't in this one. Same sort of vibe. It felt like I watched almost the same game back to back. Hopefully that doesn't repeat again on Friday.
Look, I agree with you completely with the starting Prijovic, and it looks like the team's just a little bit rusty. We've got a new coach, we've got a bunch of new players playing a new formation, we've got a gel, but starting Prijovic over Wenzel Halls, if we don't make too many tactical changes and we play in the same sort of way where we are throwing balls into the box, we want to have somebody that's a little bit bigger than Wenzel Halls in there, as much as I do like both of our strikers.
Just adding to that, I think we kind of have like a pretty full-on first 30 where we're like really full of energy and a bit of dynamism, we're dynamic. And then after that, and that's when we're getting our really good crosses in, we're catching people on the break. And in those cases, we have Dylan Wenzel Halls in there, and they've either been the other side, to the other side of the ground, or nowhere near him. So we really need to bring that Prijovic in to possibly connect with these balls. So I completely agree with you, having him on early.
Also, just worth mentioning quickly, although he wasn't fantastic, Lustig lucky crack on the weekend. He gave away a few, but hopefully he keeps his effort up and is rewarded with a better game next week. I honestly probably see him starting again. He's got a bit of a dip in form, but it looks like he's trying to do something about it. I thought he showed a few more positives this week.
Yeah. Well, now that the game's all said and done, should we do our player votes?
Yes. Yeah, let's do it.
Now, the 3 of the 4 people on screen and Scott, who couldn't make it today, all have the same votes. Do you want to read them out, Leb?
Yeah, the number 1 vote goes to Tomoki Mai, as in only gets 1 point. Sorry, probably should have started off with the 3, but I thought it'd be a little bit different. But Tomoki Mai, nothing spectacular, but as solid as usual, as what we've come to expect from him from the past year and a half. It's just kind of what we expect now. It's Tomoki Mai on the pitch. Someone who's going to give it his all and put in at least 7 out of 10 performance every week. But his partner, Leo Lacroix, however you want to pronounce it, whenever we catch up with him, I'm sure we'll ask him how it's properly pronounced and get the real way. Lacroix, we'll figure it. But he's getting number 2 because he was still the powerhouse of that defence. And even though we let in the goal, it was from set piece. It was a collective effort. It wasn't necessarily down to our centre-backs. But the person who did best for us, ran the show to the most that we could, was Kilkenny, number 3. I feel like he was just that energy that we needed in midfield that we probably maybe lacked a little bit last season. We've spoken about Lustig, but I feel like Lustig is more someone who can support him really well. So Kilkenny on his A-League debut for Western, 3 votes.
100%. Now, Jay, you're the only one that differed from the rest of us. What were your thoughts on the day?
Only slightly. I went with for 3 Neil Kilkenny midfield. Positive play. Number 2 was Tomoki. I think he actually was just worked a bit harder. Looked like he really gave it a red hot go, and he just looked like he was outworking his partner a bit. Both pretty even in my books. The only reason I've given him 2 and Leo 1 is because Leo is the tall powerhouse unit, of our club. He's got to be influencing those corners more so. I feel like he's partially at fault, even though it was you've really got to make yourself a problem and be at least getting near the players that are jumping for the ball. Like for him to misread it and be so good in the air from what we've seen is just that's a shocker. Other than that, his game was pretty much flawless, so he still gets 1. But Diamante probably wasn't far off 1 as well. He gave a lot of our positive balls into the box, so he's been pretty hard done by all of us. But if he gets an assist, he's probably got 3. So that's just a lot harder for the attackers. But I think we've all got a very, very similar view of this game. Hopefully, we get a couple of strikers in the 3s and 2s next week.
Definitely. After this round, which I would not have expected Neil Kilkenny to be leading the votes on 15, Lacroix on 9, and Tomoki Amai on 6. So definitely not what I was expecting. And the fact we were all on the same wavelength there really shows that it was a bit of a defensive game, which is not a bad thing. Anything else, Kelsey?
Nope, I think we've covered the game pretty well, and hopefully we can get a better result next week.
Definitely. Now, if you're as passionate about Western United as we are, you won't want to miss any of the season's A-League action. And the easiest, quickest, and best way to catch every game from every angle is with the A-League Live app. Search for A-League Live Sport or Sportsmate in the app or Google Play stores. Now, here's a real story from the weekend. We were on the march from the Barwon Club to the GMHBL. I literally looked up the squad for the day whilst we're walking.
Well, the other thing too is A-League Live provided a lot of those stats for the breakdown for the Ryan Scott versus Jamie Young thing as well.
So yeah, big shout out to them. We'll have a link in the description of the audio and the video. Now, do you guys want to move on?
Yep, let's do it.
Yep, sweet. Now we're going to go into... Actually, that's out of sequence. The game preview. Now, I'll be organising this one. Who's keen?
We are.
I know you are.
We are.
7:45 on a Friday night. Yeah, good way to end the work week. Very keen.
That's better than the 5:30 on a Friday night like last week when we had to race to the city.
Yeah. So in the first match of round 2, West United take on Perth Glory at 7:45 p.m. at Amy Park. This will likely be Victorian football fans' first chance to see Liverpool legend Daniel Sturridge in action, and it might boost attendance. Perth drew with Adelaide in round 1 with a belter from Fornaroli, proving he still has some gas in the tank. Our record against Glory is quite good with 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and one of those being a cracker. Kelsey, what are your expectations?
One, I'm hoping that we do get a decent crowd. I've heard rumours that some Liverpool fans want to attend the game to see him in action. Jalen will be able to better confirm that, being actual Liverpool fans as well.
Yeah,
look, I'm hoping for a cracker.
That one, Kelsey, if that's all right. The Liverpool Supporters Group. Yeah, while we're on the tangent, the Liverpool Supporters Club, Melbourne, have been having talks in there. Myself and Jay both being Liverpool fans, we're in there and met a few of the guys when we've gone to the Imperial and whatever. Not too close with them, but have met a few people and chatted to a few people in there. And there's definitely plans for not being in the Perth active, but potentially a Liverpool active that might be at the game as well. So I think attendance, don't know how much it'll be boosted, but it'll definitely be upped by the fact that Daniel Sturridge will be there. And let's hope he gets more than 8 minutes.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if he's at least draws a couple hundred people just to watch the Daniel Sturridge show. I mean, if you saw 95,000 rock up to the G for a Liverpool game, wouldn't surprise me if you get a few hundred for one of Liverpool's, big stars of the last 10 years.
Would you say it's worth 3 touches or?
Yes. I would actually.
I think I went to a Newcastle game to watch like a touch from Emil Heskey, and it was beautiful. So I think it's definitely worth it. I think he'll get the Previc situation. He's just come out of quarantine himself. He's not fit. Probably might get subbed on at like halftime. Maybe we might start. Who knows? But I think it was a fitness issue that reduced him to the late sub last week. Wouldn't surprise me if he's still not quite up to it in Melbourne, but I think he'll at least be subbed on, hopefully.
I'm hoping for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, I suspect he might come on about the 60th as well. Now, just going back to recap, look, I'm hoping for a bit of a cracker of a game. Maybe not 7-5. We don't need that kind of levels of craziness. It's not good for your defence. Might be good for Ryan Scott if Jamie Young shipped 5 goals, though. But, look, I'm hoping for just an open, like when I say open game, just a bit of a cracker both ends, just a bit of entertaining football.
Yeah.
100%. I'm hoping for something quite entertaining as well. How do you think we're going to line up this week, Jay?
Yeah, pretty much like I said in the recap of the last little bit. I think it'll be a relatively unchanged squad. Maybe see how Rene Crin's doing. See if he can slot into that midfield. Maybe Previc starts over Wenzel Hall. Then maybe we get Parias in over Lockie Wales because I think he's definitely worth a run as well. There's the same. Start Young as well. And see where we go. I think it's going to be either going to be pretty much unchanged, or I think there'll probably be those 3 changes will all go ahead, something like that. Those are the only ones I really see happening. Other than that, I think our starting lineup's pretty much lock.
Nice. Anyone else, Kelsey?
Yeah, no, look, I'm hoping Rene Crin at least makes the bench this week, that he's already, at least, hopefully he's fit enough to at least make that. I would like to see Previc start. I think Alois is fairly settled in his lineup minus 1 or 2 tweaks here or there. So I don't think we'll see a lot of change.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Leb?
Look, I don't have much to say on it. It's more so I just want to see a better performance.
Okay.
Whoever plays.
We struggled with converting chances in the forward half. Leb, what do you think can be done to seal some deals there?
Well, as I mentioned before, if we want to play the same sort of way, I think playing Alex Previc up front instead of Dylan Wenzel Halls, or even if they both play, at least having that bigger striker on the field will help with that sort of thing. Or we may not need to play him from the start if he's still not fully fit, but that means we need to change the way that we're creating our chances instead of going a little bit more gung-ho with, swinging balls in quick. We might need a bit of a slower, a bit of a more composed build-up play.
Yeah, nice. Now, score predictions, Jay.
Two 2-1 Perth.
Ooh,
unfortunately,
right.
I think we're going to go down. I think we score a goal. I think we it's 1-1. They score 1 late. I don't think Sturridge scores. I think Rowley is looking pretty good. He's going to be their main man. I think Perth are going to slip away with the win. Hopefully, I'm wrong, obviously, but I've got a bad feeling. I think Perth are going to be a sneaky team on the hop this year, and Fornaroli, I think, is going to cause us problems, much like he did when they played us early on last season.
Okay. Kelsey.
So here's what I like to happen in my fantasy land. It's like the 93rd minute, Sturridge scores, they all go wild. Shame it was 2-1 to us winning.
I'd love that. I would absolutely love that. I'd celebrate for Sturridge at that point.
So would I.
Yeah. You're
Not
not even a
2-1,
Liverpool boy.
Maybe if we're up 3-0, but
yeah, 3-1,
like that
3-1.
Goal buffer to remain intact. Okay.
Oh, when I said 93rd minute, there's only 3 minutes of stoppage time. Like it's literally like the last kick.
Yeah, and then they kick off
Halfway goal.
from halfway goal, and Jamie Young slips over, and we lose 2 points like that. That's how it happens.
Hey, it'd get Scotty back in at least, which
I'd rather the three. Honestly, sorry, Scotty. I'd
I'd
rather
rather the 3 points at this. Yeah, I would.
Same here.
Leb, what do you think?
Well, hang on. We didn't get Kelsey's actual prediction. Was
Oh,
that
wait,
your
no,
actual
no,
prediction, or was
I'm going to
that
go
just
with my Fantasyland one.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'm a bit more pessimistic than Kelsey, but not as pessimistic as Jay. I think, yeah, it's going to be 1-1, and unfortunately, Daniel Sturridge doesn't score in that one either.
I'm in the same camp as you, Leb. I think it's going to be 1-1. Looking at their game against Adelaide as well, they had a freak goal to make it win. So I reckon we get one in, and it's going to be like Connor Payne.
No, they didn't win, did they, against Adelaide?
They had a draw.
The draw, yeah, but to actually get a point.
Yeah. So like that's what I mean. Like to get that goal, it was a bit of a freak one. So I reckon we're gonna get one like from Connor Payne, and he's gonna do his triple deke thing. He does the leg thing, and it's gonna that's my prediction. I'm happy to be wrong. I just wanted to make it say it's a bit random. Any other final comments?
I hope you're
like
right.
I said, I'm sticking with my.
Sorry,
go.
Right about Connor Payne, because he actually has looked somewhat lively, and I think he deserves a goal.
Do you like that? Yeah.
Yes, I'll stick with my Fantasyland. I suspect it'll be a draw or a loss, but I'm going to stick with Fantasyland and go with the win in that ridiculous scenario.
Nice. Now,
can I ask you one thing there, Kelsey, before we go on to the next thing?
Yep.
Do you think any of our new players will get their debut goal for the club?
I think Prijovic scores in the game.
Okay.
If he gets more time, I reckon he's going to be one to score for sure.
Yeah, see, I was going to say I got the feeling of a Neil Kilkenny penalty.
oh,
That'd be good. I'd take that.
I would like to see one of our new players score and sort of get around the active, or at least J up the fans a little bit to sort of be like, we're here sort of moment for the club, because we do have 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 big new players that we haven't really got a chance to meet or see in action. So it's not like any other season we've had at Western, and I think there are glimpses of passion. We have seen Leo come up and interact with the fans. Prijovic not so much. He did stick it to the Jets supporters.
That's what I was going to bring up. I don't mind if he does that again. He gives it to the opposition again.
He just seems like the A-League Zlatan.
Maybe he thought that was our support for a second. And
wait, what colours are we?
He's not been in the country long. Yeah, but I would like to see like maybe a Neil Kilkenny goal, or like a goal from a set piece or a corner or something like that, and all the players sort of link and gel and get around each other. Obviously, I don't want us to lose 2-1. That's just my football brain kicking in for once rather than my passion. If we do win, I don't think it'll be by more than a goal. But if we do win, I think it'll be another cracker. Although I was wrong about last week to an extent. I thought it'd be a 5-3 or a 0-0, and I was sort of close to 0-0. But I hopefully it's an exciting game for the neutral fan at the very least.
Let's keep it moving, guys. And do you know what we're going to talk about next?
Where are we going?
Hey, here we go.
Yes. Now, support for All Out West is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You've heard that right, 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code AWAW21. Now, imagine
At manscaped.com.
At manscaped.com. Sorry, my apologies. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. We've all had a go of it, and I've been blown away by the performance.
Not me yet. Sorry, guys.
Well, hurry up, buddy.
I know. Sorry. I'll get there.
We expect results on next week's pod.
Yeah.
All right,
You want
done.
an update,
Yeah,
buddy?
but the package is too nice. I've just wanted to kind of keep it together for a little bit.
It's pretty. It's like, well, let's talk about the packaging. The package comes in this nice box. It's a great customer experience. I, for one, was blown away by it, and I had really good go. Like, you know what I mean? It's Christmas. It's also a time for a lot of people getting out of lockdown in Victoria. You want to get yourself cleaned up. You want to get back on the dating scene. I'm a married man. This is away from me. I don't know. I'm not in that game anymore. You know what I mean? But for those who are getting back into the nightclubs, those who get home from football matches in Geelong at 6 a.m. after getting a really expensive Uber ride home, this could be for you if you want to impress someone. So we really recommend checking out manscaped.com.
Do you know what I was blown away by? The performance.
Yeah?
Yep. The craftsmanship details in the 4.0 are next level.
Love it. Now, this could also be a great present for your dad, which is a bit weird, but hey, you do you. Your partner, a friend, maybe your friend's got hairy nuts. Send them a thing. It might make active smell a bit better at the end of a game. I don't know. But if that's something that appeals to you, go to get 20% off plus free shipping with the code AWAW21 at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. You guys want
The
to get into the
deodorant's
tipping cop?
great as well. I needed that.
Don't even get me started.
After game 1.
To be honest, I would take that ball spray, the Reviver, if you're going to go out after the game. 100%. Like, that gets you, like, you won't get like any of that, like, that's stank crotch from that. And if you want to pick up, like, yeah, that's just my recommendation. But let's get on to the footy tips, like our tipping comp. As you know, we have a tipping competition. Sorry, I'm just trying to get rid of that. So my apologies, guys.
There we go.
Yep, sweet. Tipping comp. Now, do you guys want to share it? Just give me a second,
I'm not
guys.
going to lie. I forgot it existed again.
Kelsey, can you step your game up? Kelsey, please do it, because we have a real prize that we will be getting. We will also have the most wanted trophy in the All Out West podcast universe, the toilet seat. Now, Ethan AWW is currently winning on 4 points. Same with Christopher Russell. Irish Tony's coming third on 3, which is same with the Dogs. Look at Scott, All Out Pests, which is me. Lebby, you're coming 7th. Now, Sherlock, Nick, the worst attending member of the podcast, on 2.
He's that bad. He didn't get a Manscaped bundle.
Yep, that's what happens. Now, DeJoker Baby, 12th. What's your Lebby G? Your 7th, and yeah, A-Track's coming last.
That's what I love to see. Last year's champion.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough crawl back. Shout out, big fella. But yeah,
well, look, he's on -3 for the. Sorry, Wallace. He's on -3 for the votes, which means that kind of looks like he actually tipped Brisbane for a 1-goal win, or City for a 5-goal win.
Wow, something was outlandish there. But step your game up, Tran. Make sure you check this space. We will bring it up every week. Kelsey will eventually get on it. Thanks for letting the team.
I'll do it this week. I'll start from 4 behind and see how far up I can get.
Yeah, not probably well. Now, we won't have a lot of...
Sorry, just quickly. I'm 12th, so is Weston. Expect both me and Weston to be at the top, number 1 by the top of the season. I'm going to go in solidarity with our club, rocketing up that table.
If there's a draw, we're going to have to make more trophies.
No, I'm taking it.
No, well, the prize can only go to a non-All Out West podcast. So the person who does best that is not a member of the podcast, Nick, this doesn't include you, mate. Shout out, Nick.
If we have
side note, I might have told him that he can win it, just to get him to join.
Okay, cool. Well, he can win it. He hasn't attended in 2 years.
Just quickly, I reckon if we have two people not from the podcast win, I reckon we set up a FIFA game, Western United home versus Western United away, and simulate it. And each person picks a team, and then we see how it goes from there. The winner from that game on FIFA, that simulated game, ends up getting the trophy if it comes down to a draw.
I know.
Okay, I was just going to say running race, but hey, I'll take it. It seems less
Look,
less
we've
running.
done that for a couple of hard decisions in the past as well. FIFA matches, 10-player Smash Bros. Games. There's been a few really tough decisions made from simulations.
I like it. Now, we'll keep moving. Now, around the grounds, we don't have a lot this week, but I think a really big one is, and there's been a lot of heat thrown at MacArthur, and I can understand the issue they have, is their stadium was deemed unsafe for A-League action last week, and it's probably going to be for a few weeks out of action, and their game had to be rescheduled. As the other new expansion team who does have a stadium that's unusable. Well, we don't have a stadium, so but who can understand it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad for some of the fans to go through that, because it's, imagine having to drive to Newcastle. That's a fair trek. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look,
you
feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah, it is a fair trek, but I'd rather go to Newcastle and watch a game on a pitch that doesn't look like it's been hit with mortar fire. That was an atrocious pitch. I swear, I saw some Germans digging trenches out there. I'm not even kidding. It was. It looked like a war zone. It was horrific.
It literally looked like the time I was at Normandy at the landing beaches, and you see the big crate. That's exactly what it looked like.
It was giving me it was giving me 1970s AFL vibes.
There was like tank traps and all that all over the field. It was just atrocious. How do you let that happen if you can?
You pay $1 in rent. That's how.
Yeah, there's got to be other clubs using it as well, not just it's ridiculous.
There is amateur clubs with pitches that are 1,000 times better than that.
And no one go down and suss a couple of days before? What are they doing?
Weeks before,
go down
slack.
And have a look.
But yeah,
for both the club and at least we know, like at Western, even though we don't have a ground, we know Amy Park's always going to be top notch. GMHBA is pretty close to top notch, and Mars Stadium has actually, they've put a good surface forward most of the time from what I've seen. But geez, you'd hate to rock up and see that, and you'd hate to be thinking you're playing a game down at Amy Park, and then all of a sudden, you're going an hour and a half in the opposite direction to Geelong. So, it is.
But sorry, one last point. They had to move it because imagine the sorts of injuries that the players could have got on that sort of pitch as well. It's not just awful to look at. It's not just slack. It's dangerous.
Yeah, and MacArthur can't afford to lose more players.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely would have seen a few legs come off with all the landmines planted under that pitch out in Campbelltown. It was atrocious.
Now, here's just a little bit of a summary here, just to put into perspective. It is a 2 hour and 34-minute drive with tolls, 235 Ks to get there from MacArthur, just a centralized location on Google. It is a...
As a person who won't pay tolls, how long is it without tolls?
There wasn't an option because it's all inland. Because it's all coast. But
New
here's
South
another
Wales.
fun one. Yeah, another fun one. 8 hours and 49 minutes on a train to get there. And it is a 44-hour walk and a 12-hour and 47-minute bike ride.
How much is the Uber?
It does give me that
bit more
option.
than 250, I'd say.
How long does it take to crawl there?
I was going to say do the worm.
It doesn't give me that option on Google. Sorry, man. But I can understand.
Sorry, Wallace. Before we get off this point, I'm not 100% sure when I was announced, but as far as I know, it wasn't too long beforehand. So imagine us as football fans and other clubs as well, planning for weeks in advance for this round one to have a big day, catch up with a lot of people you haven't seen in a long time, and then everything changes. And it's not even a COVID-related issue, which we could probably deal with because we're used to that sort of thing now. It seems like it's people being negligent,
Slack.
if anything.
Yeah.
Maybe the pitch had COVID.
It looked like it.
It looked
like it. It looked like it was in the ICU.
Yeah. I don't know if there's pitch gonorrhea or something, but yeah, it wasn't good. Don't know what else to say there. It wasn't great.
Use the
really,
bulldio to fix it.
yeah. Now, I feel bad for the fans, and that would really have sucked. But we're going to move on. Do you guys have anything for Carded?
Well, I think we just said our first one then.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest one. Red card to the players throwing bottles at the League One game this morning, throwing bottles at Dimitri Payet. Caused, I think, the game to get delayed. I didn't see past like the 20 minutes.
Postponed. It was awful.
Yeah, it was postponed.
Sorry, I'm a bit animated.
But
it's just
like,
something
come
you
on,
never
guys,
want to see in football.
Maybe if you're going to throw, look, you see stuff get thrown on the pitch, if it's a plastic cup here or there. And you don't throw full bottles of water at players. You don't throw objects at players. You know,
Throw a couple of chippies.
everyone's seen someone throw an empty bottle onto, the touchline or something like that. Or if you're at a boy all sliding in front of your old fans, maybe then you start throwing stuff. But
you had to bring that up, didn't you?
We did,
mate. But that's just disgraceful to be throwing objects at players that are just there to do their job, there to play for the fans. You don't treat your players like that.
It was straight
Marseille
impact.
game.
You saw the way it hit him. It was straight impact too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marseille games, they bring out the worst in everyone in France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Anyone else? Anything else?
Yeah, I've got one. It's not necessarily about Manchester United's performance, them getting smacked by Watford. It's the fact that it's not even this round. Players, Ollie, have to hold their hands up too, but it's not even about them. It's my card is towards the board and how long it's taken to actually figure out that this guy was out of his depth for so long. And so many people have been saying he knew it within himself, but he loved the club that much that he didn't want to give up on something he loved. I'd give less blame to him. And you feel like he was just used as a puppet for a lot of the shortcomings that are higher up in the club. And they can go get another manager tomorrow, but I could get stuck into a 10-minute rant about this, but I won't. But essentially, there's this big, lengthy process that's going on that doesn't look like it's going to work in the long run as well. So my card's to the Manchester United board and owners.
My card is actually going to be changed to Watford for getting him sacked.
Yeah. Look, but at the end of the day, until things change at the top, I don't think things will change at that club.
No.
I also have a card, but this is for something different. I give a red card to the new Home Alone movie on Disney Plus. I watched it with my daughter, and it is shit.
Oh no, there's another that's got to be number 6 now, yeah?
I think it's like 5. I've
I
watched
think
all
it's
of them
5.
recently.
5.
Like-
yeah, because there was like 2 with Macaulay. Shout out Macaulay, you're great to see you doing well at the moment. But there were a couple. No, it is number 6 because apparently 3 and 4 were awful. 5 was actually like decent because they didn't try and play off everything that had to do with the old ones and they made it a little bit different. But you telling me this now is maybe laugh, but cry.
There looks to be 5.
What's that? Sorry?
There's 5.
Oh,
no,
you're
see,
thinking of
this
the
one, the one that came out is the 6th because there was the holiday heist in 2012.
That's the one that was actually okay from what I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's better than 3 and 4.
I reckon
all let's do is
let's do a deep dive on this next time. We'll do a Home Alone podcast in a couple of weeks. We'll do a proper deep dive.
Okay, next podcast, set aside 5 minutes for proper 5 minutes for a Home Alone segment.
All I'm assuming is they had opening credits and it was considered better than the other 2 movies just by opening credits.
Yeah, they were pretty weak.
Because that's a Home
3 and 4.
Home Alone.
But yeah, let's get back onto the club stuff now. We would like everyone listening to make sure you get out to the game on Friday. Let's support the boys. Let's make it happen this season. Attendance is a big part of it. Get out there, support. Active's going to be out there having a good one. Is there any pre-game info yet? I take it no.
Not yet, but I'm sure it's going to be the bar when it's probably going to be a bit tough on a Friday night.
It's at Amy Park.
Work. Oh yeah, crap, sorry. Precinct.
What's the one across precinct? I'd say precinct worst case corner. Worst
Look,
case.
it's not confirmed, but I'm assuming it'll be the precinct. They're guys that have helped us out in the past and had us there before games when we've played in Melbourne beforehand, apart from when they've been City's home games, because City do go there. But
That's understandable, though.
no information yet, but I do feel like the pre-game atmosphere will be a bit small. It's hard for people. It's a Friday night. But there's no excuse not to get to the game by 7:45 unless you're finishing in the country at 6:30 p.m.
Oh, look, I'll confess I'm unable to attend this week's game just because I've got a work thing that I have to attend, but I'll be supporting nonetheless. I'll be watching on my phone whilst there.
Look, as we said before, it's a bit of a tough time because the world has just opened back up. So there are a lot of events going on at the moment. So we do understand that too. We just hope that even though we've started off with smaller attendances this season, whereas usually we've had bigger ones in the early round, we hope they don't drop from what they are now. We hope to see them at least stay the same or improve over the course of the season.
And what I don't want to see is people purchasing a ticket then just not showing up.
If you're not going to come, don't get a ticket.
That's the thing. Like, I haven't purchased my ticket because I know I can't attend this week.
Yeah. And you've got a free one.
That's exactly right. I could just claim it.
Unless you are physically paying for it and you don't attend. That's free money for the club.
Yeah.
Although it's lost revenue on possible like food and drinks, but whatevs.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our sponsors, Manscaped. Check out A-League Live. They're a sick app. And all West, aren't we?
All West, aren't we, fellas?
All West, aren't we?
Jay?
Jeffrey.